Pantheon Plaza is located in the center of Divine Realm. Yi Ming dare not use the gate of time and space, but can only do his best to fly. He turned into a Protoss, and the Protoss encountered on the road were not skeptical. Instead, he greeted him with approval. It seems that this Protoss has a very high status. After flying for a quarter of an hour, I crossed the heavy hall and saw a huge altar. In the middle of the altar, there is a huge tripod like a hill, inscribed with flowers, birds, fish and insects, ancient divinity, supreme forbiddenness, and hidden mystery. Yi Ming fell on Pantheon, without a word, immediately urged the infinite amount of magical power, and pressed his palms on the tripod. The boundless mighty power flows into Shen Ding, and the ding suddenly shines brightly, slowly suspends, and then quickly becomes smaller. In a blink of an eye, the tall Yu Shending was only as big as a palm, and Yi Ming easily took it away. As soon as the tripod was put away, the entire Pantheon immediately shook, and dozens of arrogant thoughts came in. Yi Ming didn't dare to stop, and directly called the time and space boy, and returned to the temple where Nangong Weiwei was in a flash. He was too late to explain. Yi La Nangong Weiwei said, "Go." The space-time boy broke open space, and the two instantly moved to the mothership. The people on the ship were all stunned. They were still waiting for the delivery of the dowry. Why did the young lady come back suddenly? Yi Ming said, "The Protoss have orders. You leave dowry and ceremonies, and all personnel are concentrated on a 9-star battleship." Everyone doubted him, and immediately flew out of the ship, and soon gathered on a 9-star battleship with no dowry. Immediately after their transfer, Yi Ming ordered the space-time boy to perform the magical power of space-time transfer, transferring 99 9-star battleships, 10 nebula fortresses, and a nebula mothership all towards the Sword World. And as soon as they left, a light was killed from the realm, and it turned into a big hand of light, straddling the interstellar space, grabbing forward fiercely, and the 9-star battleship that was not gone was caught. But the next moment, Yi Ming, who was jumping in time and space, saw that a big star hand, extremely huge, suddenly appeared in front. The opponent actually broke the end space, and wanted to kill Yi Ming in the space-time channel. Yi Ming was frightened, but the time and space boy has repeatedly shifted the space and time channel. After 9 consecutive times, he got rid of the opponent's pursuit and appeared in the Sword World. As soon as the man arrived in the Sword World, Yi Ming ordered the Sword of Time and Space to protect these warships, and he took Nangong Weiwei to the legendary school. He came to the Sword World because he thought that these warships could just improve the defense of the Sword World. In the future, he will build the Sword World into an important base, and naturally, he will have to operate well. As for the dowry items that cost tens of billions of eternal coins in the battleship, he was all in his pocket. The money seemed to be too much, but it was not enough for him. Just practicing the 3, 4, and 5 weights of the 9 life and death skills consumes hundreds of billions of longevity coins, which is about 200 million eternal coins. If the following 6 to 9 are also cultivated, about 7 billion eternal coins will be needed. That, S2 Supreme, a method of burning money. Even the rich can't practice it, let alone their qualifications. The following 6 exercises, I'm afraid they will be more expensive, which is not enough. As soon as his people arrived at the school, they found that Yunfeng and Tang Yuexian were already waiting for him. Yunfeng met Nangong Weiwei, and Baba went to the front and said, "I've seen a big sister." Nangong Weiwei Chao blushed, not sure if she should. Yi Ming stepped forward to meet Tang Yuexian and said, "Master, the task has been completed." Then, he handed over that Yu Shending. Tang Yuexian nodded and said, "Very good. The land of creation will open after 3 months. During this time, you should not go anywhere and practice with peace of mind." Then he looked at Nangong Weiwei. Latter quickly greeted him. "I've met the girl, would you like to worship me as a teacher?" Tang Yuexian asked. After a short while at Nangong Weiwei, Yi Ming quickly said, "Weiwei, are you quick to master?" Wei Wei reacted, and hurried to meet her. Practitioner Nangong Wei Wei, met Master. Get up, Nebula teaches you can't go back, but don't be sad. In fact, that Nangong's prosperity is not your biological father. Tang Yuexian said a secret, shocked Yiming and Nangong Wei Wei. Not my biological father. Nangong did have a daughter, but she has always lived in the dark, enjoying a love far higher than yours. You are kept just to replace his biological daughter and marry into the Protoss. Tang Yuexian said, this incident I know very little, but I tell you now that you don't have to be psychologically disturbed. In the future, the legendary school will be your home, and the Nebulae and Nangong prosperity will be a thing of the past. Quote. Nangong Wei Wei didn't have much sorrow, but it was easier to accept the fact. After all, Nangong pushed her into the fire pit before the heyday. No normal father would do this. Does the master know who my biological parents are? Nangong Wei Wei asked. Tang Yuexian. Your parents have already been killed. I only know that they are also surnamed Nangong. It may be a side branch of the Nangong family. She turned to Yiming again. I know you have created your own martial arts path, but you have to work hard to survive in the land of creation. Yiming. Master, it seems that you have to pass the test to enter the land of creation. Yes, there were tens of thousands of people who participated in the test, but in the end, fewer than 30 people could pass. Of these 30 people, only a few could survive. Based on our experience, those who entered the land of creation, the best practice is probably Fatian double and Fatian triple. Quote. Yiming. Master, the land of creation, what kind of place is it? We can look for artifacts of creation. What about Protoss and aliens? Tang Yuexian. The Yunfeng meeting will tell you. Yes, there are important things to do for the teacher, take a step first. Tang Yuexian said just leave. Yiming could only ask Yunfeng. Yunfeng said very detailedly. The original land of creation is the point where the major dimensions meet, and it is called the center of the universe. However, this land of creation is not friendly to most of the souls. The Lord God will undoubtedly die when he enters. Ordinary people will not live if he enters. After countless generations and countless touches, all ethnic groups know that only those who live in the second realm of the law and the third realm of the law will have a very small chance to survive. The land of creation draws energy from all dimensions, so it has bred countless treasures, and the artifact of creation is only one of them. The artifact of creation is something that must be possessed if you want to be a strong one. It turned out that if 9 realms of Chengsheng were to become the Lord God, they must first possess the artifact of creation and use it to suppress their own physical fortune, so that they could become the Lord God. There must be an artifact in the hands of each Lord God. Of course, there are differences in the power of different artifacts. The heavenly bell of human fortune artifacts belongs to one of the most powerful artifacts of creation, otherwise the ancestral continent cannot be broken. Yunfeng also told him that there were tens of thousands of people who were tested this time. Among them, those who can enter the land of creation, each has different forces behind them, so they are hostile to each other. What's more dangerous is that the aliens will also send geniuses into the land of creation, and the chance of meeting them is very high. In other words, entering the land of creation is simply a life of death and danger. However, Yiming was not very worried about it. The danger of the Sword World was not less than that, but he returned safely. What he was worried about was how to find that artifact. Yunfeng's explanation is that the location of that artifact was determined by countless forces after hundreds of thousands of years, consuming countless resources, and sacrificing countless lives. It is very reliable. What Yiming and Yunfeng have to do is find it and take it away. It sounds easy, but Yiming can foresee the danger. He asked, Feng brother, who wants artifact? I'm not sure, but according to my analysis, that person is most likely from a Buddhist or a Buddhist culture. Yiming nodded. Indeed, this possibility is the greatest. The Buddhism and Taoism civilization has not been able to give birth to the Lord God level strong man. This time is indeed an opportunity, and the immortal Taoism civilization has the same situation. Once the main is born, the Buddhism, Taoism or Shandao civilization will all make a qualitative leap. But I have also heard people say that countless human civilizations have been strangled. Aren't you afraid that the Protoss will kill them? Yi Ming asked. So there is another possibility. Yunfeng said, the main will be born in a new human civilization. The civilization has insufficient heritage. Although there is a main god, it is definitely not qualified to enter a super civilization. Like a civilization, although the master is the main god, the Confucian civilization is still only a high-level civilization. Therefore, the Protoss never intended to obliterate Confucianism. Speaking of the emerging civilization, Yi Ming suddenly thought of something, saying, you have said before that Tianyuan continent is involved. Do you say that person will come from martial civilization? Yunfeng said for a moment, from martial arts civilization. Can you martial arts civilization be promoted? Yi Ming. I'm not sure, but the strength of two people is unfathomable. I think they do have a chance. It's unlikely. Yunfeng obviously didn't believe it, or the Immortal and the Buddha are not afraid of the threat of the Protoss. After all, the artifact we are looking for is extraordinary, and it claims to be the first defense force. The defense is first. Yi Ming came to his spirit. Brother Feng, do you know what artifact it is? Yunfeng said. Master does not allow me to speak to others, but it may be nothing to say to the elder brother. Master once said that the forged artifact had the most defensive power, named Mixed Sky Yuan Gang, which can cover the 100,000 worlds, and the power of all the worlds as a whole. Even the Lord God could not break through the joint forces. When he heard the news, Yi Ming's thoughts became clear immediately. His eyes were bright and he said, Fei brother, these people really need to do something big. Yunfeng's eyes flickered and he said, did brother also think of it? Although I thought of it, I didn't dare to say it. Yi Ming laughed. If this matter is achieved, the human race will be able to develop rapidly. Yunfeng. I don't know how long I can hold on, I hope the longer the better. Yi Ming. Since it claims to be the first defense force, there will be no problem. If Brother Feng, if we succeed, wouldn't we be able to become the hero of the entire human race? Yunfeng heard this, but was not happy at all, and sighed, so much credit, but my brother feels hot. Yi Mingyi said. Why Brother Feng made this statement? Yunfeng said. Immortal, Confucian, Buddhist, 3 emperor worlds, etc., which is not a superpower, and you and I are all from unknown civilizations. I come from the Coca continent, and you come from the Tianyuan continent. Like us, what qualifications are there for such little people? Yi Ming frowned. Do you still need to depend on your identity? Brother Feng, do you know anything? Yunfeng sneered. Brother, in case we succeed, you must not hold on to the credit. If others want, send them. Yi Ming angrily. To others. Why? Yunfeng looked at Yi Ming. If I told my elder brother, the emperor of the 3 emperors world, the young son of Taichingmen of the Shandao civilization, the disciple of the Dalayan temple of the Buddhist Taoism, and 7 other young talents, if everything has arrived, what do you think of your elder brother? Yi Ming narrowed his eyes. Brother Feng, how do you know these things? Yunfeng smiled. Although my cultivation is not high, it was previously recognized as the first genius of a legendary school, so many people are willing to associate with me and even want to be my followers. Privately, I have a group of brothers and horses. Do it for me, and they've heard it. Yi Ming. So, even if we succeed, we are likely to be picked. It's not very possible, it is certain. Yunfeng said. Master won't protect us. To be clear, we are both Master's disciple and her bargaining chip, but obviously the latter has a heavier weight. If my predictions are not bad, Master will surely persuade us to let go, and those picking peaches and becoming heroes of the human race will also give you and me generous compensation. Yi Ming looked at him. Brother Feng, do you say that? Did you confess your fate? Yunfeng also looked at Yi Ming. Brother, no one wants to get such glory, but you and my brother, what do you take against them? Who says you and I have no background? Yi Ming said lightly. Our background is not weaker than those you say. How clever Yunfeng was. His eyes suddenly flashed. Did brother conceal his identity? That's right. Yi Ming said. Brother Feng, you and I are like brothers and sisters. I don't hide it. The other identity of the brother is the emperor of the three emperors world. In such a big event, it is impossible for an emperor to eat alone. Yes. Once you and I succeed, then our brothers can attack and retreat. Quote. Yunfeng understands Yi Ming's meaning. As the crown prince, this kind of meritorious service originally belongs to the world of the three emperors and belongs to the emperor. No matter which side cannot easily give up. If neither of them had any background, it would be really difficult to do, but now it is different. Yi Ming is behind the three emperors' world. What are you afraid of? Worst and worst results. Even if the world of the three emperors abandons this great glory, they can win huge benefits for them. Quote. But brother, in this case, wouldn't we have broken with Master? Yunfeng was worried. How could it be? Yi Ming shook his head. Master will only pay more attention to us. You said that she would persuade us to give up, because Master understands you and me's status and identity, not enough to enjoy that glory. Once we with a matching identity, everything is no longer a problem. At that time, Master will not only persuade us to let go, but will also help our brothers. Quote. Yunfeng smiled bitterly. Big brother is the crown prince, but my little brother is nothing. Master is afraid to treat it differently. How could that be? Yi Ming smiled mysteriously. We will take a trip to the three emperors' world. I will ask the father to accept you as the righteous son. Yunfeng was taken aback and overjoyed. Brother, wouldn't this be too abrupt? What is Tang Tu? My brother is the first genius of the legendary school. Father Huang is too late to rejoice. Brother Feng, you are too contemptuous. Yi Ming laughed. Yunfeng was very excited and nodded strongly. Yi Ming contacted the emperor in advance and explained the situation a little. After the emperor gave a positive answer, he ordered the time and space boy to take his brother to the palace of that person. In the hall of Renwang, a teleportation array lighted up, and Yi Ming and Yunfeng walked out. In the large hall, there are only undead bodies. There are two people, Shenglong and Renwang. Seeing that the space-time boy actually used the channel of the teleportation team to send people, the emperor could not help looking at it more. Father Emperor. Yi Ming paid homage. Have met the emperor. Yunfeng also stepped in to see the ceremony. Emperor's expression looked a little excited, but more solemn. He waved his hand. No polite. Get up, I have something to say. The two stood up and Yi Ming asked, Father Emperor, do you not know the cooperation between the three emperors' world and the legendary academy? The emperor shook his head. It stands to reason that the three emperors should negotiate with the emperor, but the emperor did not mention it. Ming frowned. What will the emperor do? Shenglong. It's very simple. The last time you got the approval of the three emperors of the real era, the future will become the supreme emperor who has three powers in one. The emperor and the emperor are obviously unable to resist, but they are not reconciled, so they won't take the opportunity to make the emperor's impeccable contribution. By then, the emperor with supreme glory will be more persuasive than the choice of the will of the first three emperors. Quote. Yi Ming looked at the emperor. Father Emperor, is that really the case? The emperor nodded slowly. If the father doesn't know about this, the emperor is indeed a good move. But he never expected that you are the one who entered the land of fortune. Yi Ming. Father, my brother Feng is worried about how to deal with it after it succeeds. Father will meet your master and form an alliance with her. She will understand that it is better and safer to work with me than with any party. After all, you are indeed the ones who found the artifact. This kind of glory, no one can take it away. Quote. After that, he looked at Yunfeng, nodding his head again and again. Yes, Longer's righteous brother is indeed the proud of heaven, and his qualifications are not under you. Quote. Then he asked, Longer said, you want to recognize me as your righteous father. Are you really willing? Yunfeng quickly said. The juniors are willing. Okay. The emperor smiled and nodded. Yi Ming was busy pushing him, and the latter hurriedly worshipped. Yunfeng gave his elder father a hoe. The emperor was very happy, holding up his hands with both hands, saying, "In the future, your monk is my son, regardless of internal and external." Jun Wu jokes, this sentence indicates that the future world of the three emperors will fully train Shenglong to help them grow. Yi Ming thought of the previous speculation and said, "Father Emperor, this should be a big plan. I don't know who will become the Lord God." Emperor. No matter who becomes the main deity of the human race, we must take responsibility. Since the mixed asterisk 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 just covers the first defense, if I am the main god, I will definitely use this treasure to circle the world of the human race, and then protect it so that it can develop. Quote. Yi Ming. Father Emperor, Master and three emperors are all eternal Daxian, why not use the artifact directly? Once they intervene, the situation will be different. The emperor waved his hand. Eternal Daxian, easy to stay still. If they move, a big thing will happen. Yi Ming nodded. I see. The emperor bearded his beard and pondered for a moment, and said, their grand plan is an opportunity for you, longer. Originally, you have inherited the three emperors, and you are still worried that those powers will obliterate you. Now you are well, they are afraid that they will not pay attention to you at all, and this matter will make them burn their heads. Moreover, once this plan is successful, the world of the three emperors will also be under the protection of the sky, and they will not have to worry about them. Killer. Quote. Ming's eyes brightened. So, in the future, children can use the identity of the crown. The emperor nodded. That's natural. You must not only use it, but also strengthen your authority. Haven't you created your own martial arts? From tomorrow, you will begin to set up pavilions to recruit disciples and let martial arts civilization the king world is sprouting. Quote. Yi Ming was overjoyed. Father, can I do this? Naturally, in fact, the three emperors' world is inclusive of all civilizations. What is one martial civilization? How much development of this martial arts in the three emperors depends on whether the martial arts you created are strong enough. Renwang Dao, the original intention of the first three emperors to establish the three emperors' world was actually to make civilizations collide to produce the most powerful civilization. Because of this, no matter the advanced civilizations such as Immortals, Buddhas, and Confucianism, or some intermediate civilizations, or even primary civilizations, established his own power in the three emperors' world. Quote. The three emperors' world even has a gate dedicated to supporting these foreign civilizations, which regularly give certain rewards and provide places for free. Renwang Dao, longer, what are your plans? Yiming Dao said. The martial arts of the sons and daughters do not conflict with Shinto practice or with any kind of human civilization. Regardless of what the other party has cultivated before, they can switch to martial arts. Even after they have transferred to martial arts, they can also change your previous practice at any time, and it will never affect your practice. Quote. The emperor was surprised. It can be compatible. Yi Ming nodded. Not only that, Urchin is not boasting, but that is the road of war ***** created by Han Juyin and Emperor Shang, and it is not perfected by Urchin. The emperor nodded. Yes. Of course, Emperor Shang and Han Juyin have gone a long way, but once they become the main god, they are likely to stagnate. A compatible martial art is indeed worth looking forward to, and you are optimistic about your father. Ming. Father Emperor, my brother and I will stay to practice, and return to the legendary when the time is almost up. Emperor Ren. I'll talk to Tang Yuexian. After that, people suddenly disappeared. In the air, a particle of dust suddenly zoomed in and turned into an emperor. In fact, this is just a projection of the emperor's mind, not the deity. Tang Fuju, long time no see. Emperor Road. Tang Yuexian rolled her eyes. Xiao Shang, my little master, when did you become so polite? The emperor is actually Tang Yuexian's brother. If Yi Ming knew this, he would be afraid to stare at his eyes. It would be unexpected. The emperor bowed. Sister, how are you doing? No, you unconscientious brother and sister don't come to see my sister, can I be all right? Tang Yuexian joked. Emperor. Sister, this plan, why don't you say something to my brother? Tang Yuexian was silent for a moment, and said, I thought you knew, but you haven't heard anything until you know that something is wrong. I was thinking about asking you one day, but I didn't expect you to come first. The Emperor. Yi Ming is the Emperor of the Emperor. He has informed me of the incident. Tang Yuexian said for a moment. Yi Ming is the Crown Prince. The Emperor then explained the fact that the Emperor was practicing martial arts as Yi Ming, and then said, your disciple Yunfeng, I also accepted as Yizi. Tang Yuexian sighed, Master, this is really difficult for me. Emperor. Nothing is difficult, I understand what you think. But in the final analysis, this so-called glory is only a small benefit, and the greater benefit is the artifact of creation. I would like to ask one more question, is that person from the Tianyuan continent? You know, Tang Yuexian was not surprised. Once such major events are known, with the wisdom of those great people, I am afraid that nothing can be concealed. Emperor. Tianyuan mainland needs no history, no strength, no background, and it even dares to stand up to cooperate with you giants, it means that they have cards. It can't be helped. Tang Yuexian said, that man is the only one who has a 10% certainty to break through eternity. Although other civilizations also have many longevity and 9 realms, they are not as confident as him. So, the martial arts civilization needs one more god. Tang Yuexian. But the main god, I am afraid that he will also have to bear a lot of responsibilities. It must guard the human race with all its strength for 10,000 years. There is no return without paying, this is what it should be. Renwang Dao, I want to know, what do the Master and the Soul Emperor think of them? What they think is not important, what is important is how the 3 emperors think. Tang Yuexian said lightly. The emperor was taken aback. He knew the 3 emperors in his opponent's mouth, referring to the first 3 emperors and the 3 great disciples of the ancestors. He quickly asked, is there news for the 3 emperors? 3 emperors should read the book, and the legendary school should fully cooperate with this plan. Tang Yuexian said, in addition, Yi Ming was mentioned. Otherwise, why do you think I should catch up with him? Emperor. What did the 3 emperors see? Tang Yuexian. It's not clear. Originally I only needed to act in accordance with the 3 emperors, but you suddenly jumped out, brother, didn't it make me embarrassed? Emperor Ren. I am only involved in small things, and the artifacts of creation still belong to them, and do not affect the overall situation. Who said that it does not affect the overall situation? With your means, Yi Ming was originally the heir appointed by the 3 emperors. If this credit is added, how will the emperor and the emperor be at home? I think the 3 emperors do not want to see your family dominate. Right. Tang Yuexian said. The emperor said lightly, what if I could ascend to eternity? Tang Yuexian was startled. Master, you. The emperor said. I can already shock, but I don't know much. Not long ago, Yi Ming said that I was too supreme, and I got at least 50% confidence in this method. Tang Yuexian laughed. You cheap son really helped you a lot. Sister, she already knew his identity. The emperor was very calm. Long Xiaobai was my bloodline, and I felt it when he was killed. He's not an outsider. Tang Yuexian. He is now my son, Prince of Prince. You are better off raising than you are, and the truth is true. Look at my sons, there is an energetic. Yuexian. Yi Ming doesn't know about this. There is no need to tell him. But one day, he will tell me new words. Renwang Dandan said, I forgot to tell my sister. I went to the master, begging him to use the I Ching for the elderly to calculate a gossip for me. The master said that Yi Ming was my noble hit. With his help, I have a great chance to prove eternity. Master is involved, right? In this way, Yi Ming is very implicated. He is not just as simple as a chess piece. Tang Yuexian thoughtful and changed his expression. Emperor. Master Yi Jing Avenue, you can see things after 30,000 years, I must have seen something to point to me. Tang Yuexian finally nodded. I can assure you that the contributions of Yi Ming and Yun Feng will not be taken away by anyone. But I can manage the later things, and I can't. Emperor. It's okay, I'll take care of the rest. Sister, you just need to explain the situation to several other housekeepers. By the way, half a year later, it will be Master's 1 million-year-old birthday. I will take Yi Ming over. Quote. Tang Yuexian. You are pushing him on the table. Well, if necessary, I can help you. After all, my cheap master cannot be too cheap. However, it is said that Yi Ming and Yunfeng lived in the palace of the people, and Yi Ming ordered the gates of time and space to successively take over Nangong Weiwei and Ganjumei. He gave all the gains from this trip and the treasures worth 20 to 30 trillion yuan to Ganjumei and let her sell them for her. The Gan family has a lot of power, so it's more convenient to shoot these dirties. In addition, he let Tang Yuexian sell the money, most of which continue to be used to buy warships. Although he had 109-star battleships on hand, the more this thing, the better. In particular, his prince, who is finally going to stand on the bright side, will meet various challenges in the future. The family is not thick, and it is absolutely impossible to be under the palm of his hand. Ganjumei took the lead happily, and Nangong Weiwei looked quite worried. Yi Ming knew that she had something in her mind and asked, Weiwei, what are you thinking? Nangong Weiwei, I have inquired. Nebulae is now very chaotic. The Nebula Master is furious and has issued a killing order. Our situation is very dangerous. You can rest assured that the Nebula teaching will not last for a few days. Besides, we are in the Three Emperors world. No matter how crazy the Nebula teaching is, we can't come here to scatter the wild. During this time, you set your heart so that you can practice my teachings. Quote. A few days ago, he began to let Nangong Weiwei switch to martial arts. He has a lot of resources at hand, and Nangong Weiwei has made rapid progress. After all, her qualifications are not bad, and she is really good. Yunfeng went to retreat to practice, and Yi Ming was not idle. He is already the refining ***** of the second realm of law and martial arts. This realm is equivalent to the cultivation of the third realm of law and martial arts. Therefore, he is not prepared to continue to impact the higher realm, but to further stabilize and practice some exercises more satisfactorily. He originally thought about the second major impact of the great eternal immortal power, but suddenly thought of the Xuantian world, the head of Xingtian Emperor under the lake. Under his chance last time, he received an unpredictable and energetic arm of Emperor Xingtian. He decided to take Xuantian world to see if he could wake it up. He is sometimes an empty door, easy to enter the big world. As soon as the figure flashed, people disappeared. The next moment, he appeared in Xuantian world, and soon found the lake. According to his memory, he dived into the bottom of the lake, found the cave, and dived quickly. That huge skull was still there, still being suppressed by the blood-colored chains, motionless. It seems that it hasn't breathed for a long time, so that the water of Shenhu Lake is no longer full of aura and becomes ordinary, and no spiritual creatures have been born in the lake for a long time. As soon as Yi Ming came in, he was about to take out the ring. After a while, the ring vibrated violently, and a golden light burst out, turning it into a huge arm. This arm held a chain directly, squeezed it hard, and only heard a click. The major prohibition collapsed, and a chain was turned into fly ash like that. If this happens again and again, the arm will easily break the other chains. When the last chain dissipated, the silent human head suddenly opened his eyes. What kind of eyes are there? There are no pupils inside, only two vast vortexes like the stars of the universe are flowing. Seeing Yi Ming can't extricate himself, the soul must be sucked in. Fortunately, the head blinked, and a majestic, heaven-like voice sounded in Yi Ming's mind. Little baby, you finally came. Yi Ming hurriedly bowed down. I've seen the Emperor Xingtian. Turns out you know the great emperor, said Emperor Xingtian. Thank you for bringing arm. Yi Ming. How could the emperor be in a different place? Emperor Xingtian. My elder brother fell down, and my heart was in grief and indignation, so I broke into the heavens and fought against the Lord of the Heavens for 3,000 rounds. In the end, they were defeated by many people and were cut into 6 pieces. Limbs and torso were buried elsewhere. I am immortal. Even so, I have not given up hope. I almost exhausted my life and finally broke the prohibition at the bottom of the lake. But after that, I became very weak, and even the chains I wore on me were torn. It keeps going on later. Your doll appeared, let me see hope. Quote. Yi Ming was very happy. He didn't expect that by chance, he rescued the Emperor Xingtian. He said, after you recover, you can go to other parts of your body. Emperor Xingtian. I can't go out like this, I really need a physical trust. Yi Ming. What requirements does the emperor have on the flesh? Emperor Xingtian. You have a good body. Yi Ming was startled, and sweat all came down. However, you have something to do with this emperor, and I can't harm you. So, you can door of time and space for my use, and I will find a way. Xingtian Emperor said. Yi Ming was very reluctant. With the door of time and space, he was much more convenient. Without it, I'm really not used to it. Emperor Xingtian. Reassure you, this emperor will not treat you badly. You should have cultivated the blood tribe and great eternal immortal power. Blood civilization is one of the inheritance of the great emperor. And the great eternal immortal power contains the essence, the immortality of the emperor. Quote. After all, the palm of the hand was suddenly pressed against Yi Ming's head, and a vast force burst into his body. The next moment, he felt that his great eternal immortal skill quickly broke through to the 2nd, the 3rd, and up to the 6th. The eternal power in his body is so powerful that he has cultivated the infinite sea of immortal magic, which has been transformed into an infinite sea of immortality. With his palms removed, Yi Ming sat on the ground with his hips panting. Thank you for your grace. In fact, this great eternal power is 72. If you want to continue to improve, you must rely on yourself. In addition, the emperor will send you 3 drops of essence blood. After getting this blood, his blood **** immediately received great supplements and condensed directly into the entity. The blood house in Shanghai was also built almost instantaneously, and it was buried in it. More importantly, Emperor Xingtian taught Yi Ming the complete, genuine 12 blood nerves. Because the previous blood nerve is not perfect, the realm of the person who created it has not yet been reached. But the Emperor Xingtian was different. In one thought, he perfected the set of exercises created by the latecomers, and taught the 12-level cultivation methods together. Yi Ming is very grateful for this benefit, and feels that the door of time and space is worth it. Little baby, let's come to Japan, we will meet again. Said, the door of time and space, carrying arms and skulls, disappeared on the spot. Yi Ming then remembered, how can he return without the door of time and space? Is it possible to swim all the way back? As a martial arts god, he now has the ability to break through the barriers of the big world, but then it will go to the monkey year. Fortunately, this was not difficult for him. He immediately contacted the Sword of Time and Space. As soon as the thought was conveyed, a gap appeared in front of it, and the voice of the Sword of Time and Space came out. Please go to the Sword World first. Yi Ming plunged in, the space changed, and he arrived at the Sword World the next moment. At this moment he was in the Sword Bamboo Forest, and the Sword of Time and Space had transformed into a boy, standing respectfully. Yi Ming looked around and asked, Sword of Time and Space, what about the battleship I handed over to you? Sword of Time and Space. Return to the Master, I have ordered the battleship to drive all battleships to attack the soldier world. Yi Ming Yi. The military world. The weapon world. Sword of Time and Space. Yes, the masters of these weapons have gradually gathered together after the climate has been established to establish the world of weapons. The range of weapons is very wide. Swords, halberds, gunboats, etc. can all be regarded as weapons. In a broad sense, all equipment that can be used in combat is a weapon. Its range is much more than a simple sword or knife. Because of this, Yi Ming felt that the military should be very powerful. But in fact, the answer of the Sword of Time and Space made him astounded, that the soldier world has been suppressed by the sword world. It's just that there are too many opponents, and the sword world can't take them all the time. Now the sword world has 99 9-star battleships, 10 nebula fortresses, and a nebula mothership. The strength has greatly increased, so the Sword of Time and Space is about to start immediately. The Sword of Time and Space nodded, and immediately took Yi Ming away, and the two appeared on the nebula. Yi Ming saw that there were countless weapons floating in the air, including bows, crossbows, cannons, ships, cars, swords, knives, etc. There were no 800 or 1000 in all categories. Quantity even more shocking. However, Yi Ming can see that although these weapons have a certain spirituality, most of them are very vague and just resist instinctively. Of course, there are also some powerful weapons that can threaten the mother ship. The two sides are still confronting each other. No one has fired this first shot. Yi Ming immediately said, "The Sword of Time and Space, no attack is allowed. I want to talk with these weapons. Sword of Time and Space. Master, these weapons are stubborn. I talked to them no less than 10 times, but they just don't surrender." Yi Mingqi said, "Why must we surrender? Sword of Time and Space. The master has no idea there is a natural channel between the sword world and the soldier world. We will never be peaceful if we are on the back without destroying the soldier world." Yi Ming waved his hand. "It may not be so. What does the weapon do? Of course it is used. I will find a good home for them, and they will be happy. Sword of Time and Space. Yes, I immediately contacted several leaders in the soldier world." Having said that, Yi Ming saw a huge blue dragon that was thousands of miles away, breathed into the clouds, thunder added, and the momentum was immense. The Qinglong mouth uttered words, "Sword of Time and Space, what else can we say?" The Sword of Time and Space said to Yi Ming, "Master, this blue dragon is a magical transformation of a blue dragon halberd. In order to create this halberd, there was a powerful seal on the blue dragon primordial god, which created this peerless soldier." Yi Ming exclaimed, "Blue dragon halberd, don't you want to find a powerful master to continue your glory?" "Huh, who are you?" Qinglong Hal asked coldly. The Sword of Time and Space yelled, "Bold, he is my master, don't you worship?" The blue dragon halberd, "Ha ha," laughed. "The Sword of Time and Space, you really don't make a difference, you actually choose this weak person to be the master." The Sword of Time and Space sneered, "Those who have no eyesight, my master is the supreme body, can't you see?" "What?" Qinglong halberd startled. "Take a closer look." But not. Yi Ming's breath is very pure and powerful, this breath seems to be really close to the supreme body. It turned out that the former owner of the blue dragon halberd was a character who was infinitely close to the supreme body, and later became a situational figure, a giant. If it was Ent for the enemies later, maybe it's the Lord God. Qinglong Hal didn't dare to underestimate Yi Ming and said, "You want to be my master? Nature is not me, but one of my identities. I have the blood of true dragons, and my qualifications are very strong, and I will definitely be suitable for you." Yi Ming said, "If you intend, I will let you meet." At this moment, a cloud of fire flew from the west, and Yi Ming saw an incredible scene. A city actually flies in the air, and the size of the city is similar to that of the Tianyuan continent. What is even more incredible is that it is equipped with a large number of weapons and a large array of defenses. Sword of Time and Space. Master, this is the City of War. This City of War is a city created by the **** of war. Unfortunately, the **** of war has fallen, otherwise it will be stronger. Yi Ming took a glance to see that this City of War is a semi-finished product, which requires huge investment and extraordinary skills to complete it perfectly. "Well, where's the hairy kid?" Qinglong, a pseudo-supreme body just frightened you. Mingxin said that he had some eyesight. He said, City of War, I heard that you are not. So what? Even the sword of time and space, I can suppress it. War City proudly said. The sword of time and space sneered. Your bragging skills are good. Believe it or not, I am hacking you now. Yi Ming coughed and said, City of War, if I say there is a way to perfect you and make you a real City of War, do you believe it? The City of War laughed. Perfect me. Even if my host was a bit weak, what are you? As soon as Yi Ming waved his hand, 1 million heavenly workers appeared, neatly arranged in an array. I just made a budget. As long as there are 100 million talents, and with sufficient materials, for up to 20 years, I can make you a real City of War. Yi Ming said, 100 million heavenly workers? Are you kidding? You obviously only have 1 million. The City of War was clearly unbelieving. Yi Ming said indifferently, the price of such a natural craftsmanship is 20 million long-lived coins, and 100 million is 2 trillion. After discounting, the price is about 120 billion. As for the resources consumed, the most is the value of Tiangongyu is about 2.5 billion trillion yuan. These two terms add up to 4 trillion longevity coins. Quote. Of course. As soon as Yi Ming waved his hand, Nangong Weiwei's dowry appeared. Dowry has treasures, money, and magic weapons, with a total value of at least 10 billion eternal coins. And 10 billion eternal coins, converted into growth coins or 811 billion long coins. The City of War closed its mouth immediately. The weapon was the most realistic. In order to improve, it seemed to have forgotten the previous rudeness to Yi Ming, and immediately said, if you don't give up, I would follow the master. Yi Ming smiled. Okay, show your sincerity. The City of War flew a ray of aura and fell in front of Yi Ming. It was a human figure, looking at the 3 or 4-year-old boy, bare buttocks. It worshipped Yi Ming for 3 times. This is an instrumental spirit, please ask the master to sacrifice. Yi Ming struck out a ray of eternal power at once, refining it in an instant, and there was a mysterious connection between the two. At the same time, Yi Ming also suddenly understood how magnificent the project is. The City of War stood silly beside Yi Ming and said, Master, when will construction start? Yi Ming. No rush, I will send someone to buy Tiangongyu and prepare the materials. As long as you have money, everything is not a problem. By the way, what is your current strength, and you have a chance of winning against the strongest equipped Nebula ship. Quote. 80% chance of winning. City of War, mainly the Nebula cannons equipped on the mothership are too powerful. If these Nebula cannons are installed on me, I can kill it in seconds. Yi Ming was intrigued. Oh. Nebula cannons are easy to buy. How much can you equip? There is no upper limit. On the surface, the City of War is only the size of a city. In fact, there are countless folding spaces inside it, and how many weapons can be loaded? The City of War proudly said. Yi Ming nodded. In that case, buy more Nebula cannons for you. Is 30,000 enough? The City of War was startled and said, Master, Nebula cannons are great, but you don't have to have so many. 10,000 are enough. There is also a kind of Nebula cannon on this mothership. The Master can equip me. Yi Ming nodded. No problem, then 3,000 Nebula cannons, 30,000 Nebula cannons, plus 200,000 silent cannons. What do you think? The City of War was so excited that the new owner really had money. He didn't dare to speak this number, but he just said it casually. He immediately said, Master. In addition, the most needed thing in the City of War is the war puppet, the more the better. Is the war rampant? Which is the right one? Yi Ming asked. City of War. At present, the City of War is not perfect. 5 million law days are enough. In addition, there can be 100,000 longevity in the end. Yi Ming nodded. If that's the case, then buy 5 million yuan and 9 yuan, 100,000 longevity and 1 realm. 2 trillion yuan, enough to buy. Changsheng realm, he dared to buy only 1 long life, The realm is too high. Yes, he can't even afford it. For example, the last time I bought a long-lived 8 realm, which is up to 16 trillion yuan, the long-lived 9 realm, up to 64 trillion, cannot buy much. Compared to the purchase of the Changsheng 9 realm power, it is better to spend money on a high-profile 9-star battleship, and the combat effectiveness of the two is not much different. City of War. In addition, these war puppets are best equipped with bows, arrows, and armor to enhance combat effectiveness. Yi Ming. These are not the problems. I will tell people to do it. It is the soldier world, whether the rest will obey your orders. City of War. They listened to me naturally. Countless times when someone wanted to capture weapons, they were blocked back by me. But in addition to me and the Blue Dragon Halberd, there are 2 other weapons that are quite important, that is, the Annihilation Dragon Cannon and 7 Killers. Quote. The words fell, and an ancient huge fortress appeared in front of it. This turret looked bigger than the mothership. A giant gold man stood motionless behind a giant cannon. This giant artillery is longer than the mothership, and it is covered with glyphs, which is extremely murderous. Yi Ming gave a heartbeat and yelled, "What is the power of this gun?" The City of War. I used to recruit a cannon without a gun and used it as a main gun in the City of War. But this old guy was so stingy that he didn't agree anyway, and he fought with me. It turned out to be old. When things were angry, they almost blasted me into scum. Quote. How is the power of the Destroyer Dragon Cannon compared to the Nebula Cannon? Yi Ming asked. It's a long way off. The City of War. In theory, the cannons can repel the eternal powers and fight against the artifacts of creation. Because this turret was originally made with the remains of an artifact of creation. But helpless, yes, only the power of the eternal realm can exert its full power. If it is used by ordinary people, its power of 1 shot is equivalent to 1 salvo of 100 nebula cannons. Quote. Yi Ming said in surprise. That's great. On the turret, the giant slowly turned around. His eyes fell on Yi Ming, and a harsh, sharp voice like metal friction was heard. Can you perfect the City of War? Can you repair me? Yi Ming noticed early on that this annihilated dragon cannon had been severely damaged and was very badly damaged. He said, I'm not sure if I can fix you, but if you are willing to follow me, I will do my best. Tall giant, kneeling slowly, respectfully said, Master. At the same time, a copper coin flew out and fell into Yi Ming's hands. Yi Ming looked at it. The coin was long and very old. He input the eternal power, and it was easy to sacrifice the Annihilation Dragon artillery. Later, a sound of shao shao sounded between the heavens and the earth, the space twisted and changed, and a piano appeared. When Nakan made a noise, Yi Ming's scalp became numb and his back sweated. Boy, a female voice sounded. I broke a string. Maybe you repair it. City of War. Master, if Qi Qin didn't break this string, it should be the weapon with the most lethality and the widest range. The Qi Sha order came out, and the ghosts were scared, no matter how many enemies were. Gotta die. Quote. My string is made from the silk of the mixed golden silkworm, mixed with the true ***** hair, and then refined by the Master of Eternity using the secret method. It took 100,000 years to make a string. Yi Ming shook his head immediately. Sorry, I can't repair you. First, I can't find the mixed golden silkworm, and second, I can't find Daxian, the eternal realm. Even if I can find it, it can't really take up 100,000 years. Not only was Qi Qin not disappointed, but he asked in surprise, You didn't say the hair of the eternal strong, did you have it? It really does, Yi Ming said. When he saw the head of Emperor Xingtian, he took away a lot of hair. But at that time, he didn't know that Xingtian was a god-level power, and he didn't know how precious it was. Qi Qin immediately sang the 6 strings together and said, I am willing to serve you as the master. The only requirement is that the host can do my best to help me repair the strings. Yi Ming was very surprised, but he quickly returned to God and laughed, natural. After all, he sacrificed Qi Qin, and the process was equally simple and smooth. In this way, Yi Ming became the master of the City of War, the World Extinction Dragon Cannon, and the 7 Killing Qin. Even the Sword of Time and Space was very surprised at this time, saying, "The master is really amazing," and conquered the 4 weapons in one fell swoop. Qinglong Halberd originally wanted to refute, but after thinking about it, he still admits it, and asked, "Where is your position?" Yi Ming. When you meet.
Then he said to the City of War, "City of War, weapons of the military world, can you subdue a part and let you stay in the City of War and work?" City of War, of course. Most of the long-range weapons such as crossbows, bows and artillery can be used by me. Very well, you put these weapons together and make room for them in the city. Then ask the other 3 weapons, will you wait for 4 people to unite the country, can you order all the weapons? Blue Dragon Halberd. Of course, otherwise, how can we be leaders? Yi Ming. Since you can, after I buy them, order them to be the masters, I can't waste their abilities for nothing. The 4 leaders nodded one after another, saying that it was not difficult. After Yi Ming had a general understanding of the situation in the military world, he immediately ordered the 1 million heavenly workers to repair all the damaged weapons. There were 378,000 weapons in the entire military industry, and more than half of them were damaged. Even the 7 killers and the City of War are incomplete. Heavenly craftsmanship is superb, and repairing them is not difficult. In addition, he also contacted Gan Jume and asked her to purchase 100 million heavenly craftsmen, 5 million fighting crafts of 9 realms, 100,000 fighting crafts of longevity 1 realm, and a large amount of precious materials for repairing the City of War. After Gan Jume finally calculated the total amount, she was so scared that she turned pale, and shouted at the messenger, "Ming Ming, this is worth tens of trillions of longevity coins. How can we have so much money?" Yi Ming said lightly, "Of course there are, but some are treasures, some weapons, etc. I want you to exchange them all for eternity coins. Counting what I gave you before, you should be able to exchange between 8 trillion and 9 trillion. Longevity coin. Quote. Upon listening, Gan Jume's eyes lit up and she said, "Brother Ming, rest assured, I will complete it as soon as possible." Even though she came from one of the 3 major families of war civilization and was accustomed to big money, she is still shocked and excited. Thankfully, sure enough, he did not choose the right person. Gan Jume bought a puppet and a battleship, and it took several months, so he didn't wait in the military world, and let the Sword of Time and Space send him back to the 3 Emperors' world. In the Imperial Palace, Nangong Weiwei and Yunfeng are practicing. Yi Ming was assisted by the Emperor Xingtian in the Xuantian Great World. The Great Eternal Immortal skill went directly to the 6th stage, and the Blood House was also completed. This Great Eternal Immortal skill is really extraordinary. I should create a magical power, or even a nirvana. The blood nerve is also great and must not be wasted. Thinking of this, he devoted himself to trying to figure out 2 great powers. The first attempt was the civilization of blood. At this moment, as soon as his heart moved, the blood house banged and appeared in the sky above the people's palace. Strong blood flew into the sky. The blood soldiers inside rushed out, each of them was quite powerful. The blood is suspended in the air, with a graceful manner and a smile. Blood God. If you want to increase your strength quickly, you will first recommend the Blood Shadow God. They practiced Blood Shadow God before, but they tasted it, but I have Blood House and I have the Blood God power. This Blood Shadow God is most suitable for training. Yiming did know the blood shadow magic. His bloodlight killing is the magical power extracted from it. It is just that his cultivation of this technique is not profound, but more of an attempt. At this time, when the blood said he was willing to cultivate, there was no objection, saying, "Go ahead, practice if you want to cultivate." But this blood shadow magical power, domineering, it is easy not to perform. It turned out that the blood shadow magic skill can plunder the soul's essence. The more powerful the person to be plundered, the more powerful they will be. Because of this, people who practice this skill often end up with nothing, and they are taboo for the strong in the world. In addition, the practice of blood shadow magic often leads to impure power, which is difficult to reach the peak. However, the blood is different. He has the elemental blood power and blood nerve. The harvested power can be quickly purified, and there will be no disorderly breath. Anyway, the blood practice, Yiming doesn't care, just understand the magical power from the blood nerve. The essence of the blood house is actually a large array. It is the core of the blood nerve and the most powerful place. 7 days later, he suddenly made a howl, and the 30,000 blood soldiers suddenly turned into 30,000 runes, and then they were imprinted on the blood house. The next moment, the blood house suddenly turned into a ball of blood and killed it, and the silk fell down, immediately encircling a large area. At the same time, countless blood soldiers killed in line, strangled continuously. This is the magical power that Yiming thought about, killing by blood soldiers. With the improvement of the blood god soldiers' strength and the blood house's power, the power of this blood soldiers' killing will continue to grow. At present, the blood soldiers can already kill the characters of Chengsheng Yijing. After that is the great eternal immortal skill. It took more than a month for Yiming to extract a powerful magical power from it, and the eternal 3 strikes. This eternal 3 strike is actually not a simple magical power. It uses Yiming's infinite eternal Shanhai power to burst out. Therefore, it is precisely a magical power that is a combination of infinite and great eternal magic category. The eternal 3 strikes are 3 consecutive attacks, which are many times stronger than the Ling Tian strike that was cultivated that year. As soon as this magical power is exerted, the laws of heaven and earth will be affected by the eternal power, which will be beneficial to the caster, and their own strength will be increased 10 times beyond the heaven, and will not be restricted by the laws. It can be said that this eternal 3 strikes, each strike is enough to kill the strong men below the 4 realms of longevity. Because of this powerful magical power, Yiming's body was a bit overwhelmed. So it was another month, he extracted Guiyuan strike from Guiyuan great power. After that, he combined the invincible body magic power and Guiyuan 1 strike with the eternal 3 strikes to create a more perfect nirvana, eternal strike. The reason to change from 3 hits to 1 hit is because of the attack stacking effect of Giming Dazheng's power used by Yiming. Even better, during the period of the invincible body, even if Yiming exploded 10 times the attack power, he would not be damaged. The only regret is that this nirvana is too exhausting and Yiming can't perform too many times. It is necessary to take a break even after the show to restore physical strength. Unconsciously, more than 2 months later, Yiming cultivated his nirvana. The blood was not idle, he actually practiced the blood shadow magic skill to Ye. You know, this blood shadow magic skill is only 48. The 8-layer blood shadow magic skill can already easily kill the strongest in the 9 realms. But be aware that this is just the power of a shadow. The 8-layer blood shadow magic can release 800 blood shadows at the same time. In other words, the blood can kill 800 law and 9 realm powerhouses with the shadow of blood in a flash. This is absolutely terrifying lethality, and 800 blood shadows can also be superimposed, and the final attack power is enough to make the long life dreadful. Yi Ming had extracted a blood-killing magical power from it at first, and the blood killer had the same knowledge and practiced blood killing. However, his blood killing is much stronger than Yi Ming. However, the blood quickly transferred the blood shadow power to Yi Ming, so that he became 8th in the blood shadow power and a more powerful blood light kill. At the same time, combining the magical powers of blood killing, sacrifice of the gods, and the cracking of the earth, the sacrifice of the gods of the cracking of the earth also sublimates, and the power is even more incredible. You have to know that the power of the god's finger is a nirvana, coupled with the blood-killing and groundbreaking fingers, you can imagine how powerful it is. Unconsciously, the time to enter the land of creation is less than 3 days, so Yi Ming took the blood house and went to Yunfeng. Yunfeng didn't know what exercises he was practicing, and it took another 2 days before he went out. After Yunfeng went out of the customs, Yi Ming felt that his temperament had changed, and asked, "Brother Feng, it looks like you have learned a lot." Yunfeng also glanced at Yi Ming and said, "I'm afraid that there will be more gains without Big Brother." Yi Ming did not have time to ask, and said, "Tomorrow we'll mainly enter the land of creation, and you must return to the legendary school." The emperor had not appeared in large numbers, and said, "I will send you a ride." It was sent by the emperor, and they soon returned to the legendary school. Tang Yuexian has been aware of the situation of the two, and he is still sobered. Seeing the two returning, he said, "I see that you and the two are full of energy, and they must be ready." Yi Ming, "Master, didn't you say that there is still a test? I don't know who set the test and how can it be passed." Tang Yuexian said, "There is only one way to enter the land of good fortune, which is called the road of death by all races. The road of death changes every moment, so what you are going to experience is not my teacher. But according to the predecessors, numerous times of experience shows that people who are too high or too low will die on the road. If their qualifications are not good enough, their wisdom is not high enough, they will also die on the road. Of course, there are people with luck and bad luck, dead." Yi Ming was startled, "So people who have failed the test are dead?" It's not always true. Some luck, they will escape through the teleporter before danger comes. Tang Yuexian said, and gave the 2 teleporters to the 2. This teleportation character is extraordinary and extremely valuable, and the idle person cannot afford it at all. Yunfeng, "Master, does the road of death only open at a specific time?" Tang Yuexian nodded, "Yes. The opening time of the road of death is not fixed, and the maintenance time after opening is not fixed, so you must be as soon as possible." After entering the land of creation and obtaining the treasure of creation, how can we return and still pass through the land of creation? Yi Ming
According to
asked.
legend, whenever the heavenly Tao goes into
Of course
oblivion,
not,
and
you
the
can come
endless
back
cycle.
directly through the teleporter. The only good
According to
thing in the
legend,
land of
whenever the heavenly
creation is
Tao
that you
goes
can
into
use the
oblivion,
teleporter.
and the endless cycle.
Tang Yuexian said, "When you get there, you not only
In the
have to
Realm
face the
Wars,
dangerous
Tiananmen then
environment,
collected
but also face the terrible enemy. All aliens
the
and
black
human races that can enter the land of creation are your enemies, and you cannot relax your vigilance." The most important thing is to protect this map. Tang Yuexian handed the 2 maps to Yi Ming and Yunfeng. If you can enter the land of creation smoothly, you must use the map as soon as possible. Speed to find the treasure of creation. Quote.
Beast
Yunfeng could not help asking, Master, what if we encounter other treasures of creation on the way?
Master of the
Tang
Ages.
Yuexian shook his head. This possibility is extremely low, you don't have to think about it at all. Yi Ming, Master, what is the danger of the land of creation? The land of creation not only spawns the artifact of creation, but also the innate Holy Spirit.
According to
The
legend,
powerful
whenever
Holy
the
Spirit possesses the power of the Lord God. Even the weaker can easily kill the 9 realms of life, let alone a weak person like you. Yuexian said, once you meet the innate Holy Spirit, you immediately urge the teleporter, escape is important. However, Yi Ming and
The black
Yunfeng
and
both
golden
saw
ball he
from
had.
Tang Yuexian's expressions. After encountering the Holy Spirit, they were afraid they had no chance to escape, and they could not help but smile. Finally, if there are other forces entering the land of good fortune, and if you are looking for a hybrid cover, you must kill it. Tang Yuexian said. Yes. The two answered. Time flies. On the second day, Tang Yuexian personally sent Yi Ming and Yunfeng to the road of death. In an instant, they appeared on an endless road, surrounded by endless void, and only the ground was bright, composed of crystal-like things. This road is very wide, at least hundreds of miles, and there are many adventurers sparsely scattered around, including aliens and humans, the former accounting for the majority. Adventurers are so far apart from each other, like Yi Ming and Yunfeng, they are almost least they don't see it. Yi Ming whispered, Brother Feng, let's do it as soon as possible. Yunfeng nodded, and the brothers were running at the fastest speed as if electricity was at their feet. However, after walking less than 100 miles, I saw a group of aliens. One person stood every 10 steps, just like that. They were only allowed to pass by the aliens. Mortals were stopped. What disappoints Yi Ming and Yunfeng is that the number of stranded people is clearly equal to the number of interceptors, but no one dares to resist. Yi Ming will not sympathize with these people. Everyone is in a competitive relationship. At any time, they will become life and death opponents. Sympathizing with them may be sympathy for the enemy. Finally approached, Yi Ming whispered, Brother Feng, I rush in front, you take care of me. Yunfeng nodded. Brother assured. At this moment, Yi Ming didn't dare to magnify. He held the 3-pointed and 2-edged sword. Without saying a word, the man rushed over. This land of creation cannot fly, only walk. Even so, he was as fast as electricity, bringing a gust of wind. It's really terrible. Several aliens directly opposite noticed Yi Ming, yelling, and gathered towards him. However, without waiting for them to approach, several fingers pointed at Meng Fei, and they couldn't escape. It was Yi Ming's nirvana. Boom. As soon as Ziming came into contact with the aliens, they blasted away fiercely and blasted them. Although not enough to kill, they also seriously injured them. At the same time, 2 aliens dodged, each holding a weird glaive and confronting each other. Yi Ming hummed, 3-pointed and 2-edged sword swayed, and the light was intertwined. 2 major nirvana techniques were performed at the same time. Puff. The first foreigner had a ***** on his chest, and the lightning flew back. The second foreigner was stunned by the killing technique of the Great 5 Lands and was unable to resist. The two killed several aliens in a row and broke through easily. The people behind were overjoyed and immediately ran over, trying to take the opportunity to clear the gate. Unfortunately, the remaining aliens quickly filled the gap, and at the same time, a large number of aliens went after Yi Ming and Yunfeng. The two fled in front, followed by a group of aliens chasing and killing. It didn't take long before the terrible pressure suddenly appeared around them. Most of the aliens who chased off suddenly died. Yi Ming and Yun Duo also felt that terrible pressure suddenly penetrated into their bodies and then swelled strangely. If they were not strong enough, they would also explode. There was explosion of flesh and blood everywhere. Yiming looked at the scalp and numb, and said, I'm afraid this is the first wave of tests, there is still behind. The two really didn't want to stay long in such a ghost place, and speeded up again. This time, the aliens on the road have no mood to control them anymore, because everyone is preparing for the death that comes at any time. Sure enough, less than half an hour, a black and white changing grid suddenly appeared on the crystal road, and at the same time a strange power appeared. Every adventurer could only step on the adjacent grid and never jump. Yiming urged Chaos to calculate the classics and said, Feng brother, this road is just afraid to become an organ. After speaking, he took a step to the left and then a step to the right. Just try to walk like this, the further he goes, the faster he can walk. Just one step, the more cold sweat on his forehead, said, Brother Feng, in those steps just now, we have a 30% chance of dying. Fortunately, nothing happened. Yunfeng is not nervous. Both of them know that this test requires both luck and wisdom at the same time. If you can't see the regular pattern of lattice changes, you will have a dead end. Even if you can find the law, it depends on luck. If luck is not good, you may die when you try the law in the first 3 steps. After 10 steps, Yiming had fully understood the law, and his pace became much easier. Looking around, many aliens took the first step and were swallowed up by the black light rising from the grid under their feet. The corpses were not found, and they were not shattered or teleported to the endless void. In short, it was impossible to live. It took about a few hundred miles for the trellis road to gradually disappear, but a more dangerous situation occurred. The road suddenly started rolling backwards, and it was getting faster and faster. At the same time, space and time became stagnant, and it felt like the average person was struggling to swim in dehydration. Yiming ran desperately, but the speed became slower and slower, and finally fell behind the speed of the road and began to retreat. At this time he glanced back and found that I do not know when, the end of the road behind is endless void, all physical strength is not supported, the aliens who are drawn to the back by the road are all drawn into the endless void, and no sound can be heard. Yiming cried out, Brother Feng, fast. Yunfeng's whole body suddenly rose up with a bright light. It seemed that the virtual shadow of hundreds of millions of gods and Buddhas flashed in the bright light. His speed increased several times at once, pulling Yiming forward. This time, the two were much faster and finally started to move forward instead of backing away. However, after Yunfeng persisted for a moment, he began to run out of energy. The secret method he urged was too exhausting. Yiming said, Brother Feng, it's my turn. After that, he grabbed Yunfeng and urged the eternal power, speeding up tenfold at once. This eternal power can ignore the power of the law and make the feeling of stasis much weaker. Yunfeng only felt that Yiming was faster than him, and said easily, I knew that the older brother would pull me, I was almost exhausted just now. Yiming rolled his eyes, I don't know how long I can hold on. You quickly recover your work and you will take me for a while. Yunfeng immediately swallowed a few pills, and began to restore energy. Fortunately, after a quarter of an hour, the sense of stasis disappeared and the road no longer receded. However, the sky suddenly fell heavy snow. This snow was extremely cold, and it seemed to be able to freeze and stiffen the human gods. A piece of snow fell on Yiming's shoulders, and suddenly turned into a ray of cold, invaded his body, almost half paralyzed and difficult to move. He was startled and called out, Fei brother, be careful not to touch the snow. It was a pity that Yunfeng had a snow on his head was covered with hoarfrost, and even his eyelashes were frozen. Then the second, third, more and more snow fell on the body. Because her body is stiff, she can't dodge it anymore, she can only stand up at the beginning. Yi Ming still wanted to struggle and dodge, but he quickly gave up, and instead urged the eternal immortal work. The eternal power covered his whole body, and then he was free. Again, he came to Yunfang, who was almost frozen, holding his hand, and conveyed a ray of eternal power to him. The latter warmed up and resumed his actions in a moment. Brother, what kind of power is this? None of my dozens of exercises can resist this cold, but brother can. Yunfang was admired and happy. Yi Ming, no time to say, let's go. The two went forward all the way, and saw a large number of aliens froze by the road. After passing through them, Yi Ming will take off the ring, belt and other things. On the other hand, these are storage tools. As the top talents in the world, they must be very rich. Yunfang was not idle, and he had everything to learn. In this way, the two brothers stopped and walked all the way and walked for hundreds of miles. The more aliens you can see, the harder it will be, and Yi Ming and Yunfang had thousands of storage tools. The snow also stopped gradually, the ground in front gradually became fiery red, and as the road went forward, the ground became hotter, and finally turned into a red soldering iron, and continued to spray 5-color flames upward. Yi Ming gritted his teeth, covered the eternal power with his feet, and walked forward. Even with the power of eternity, the feet are still very hot, and the pants and shoes quickly burn. This fire was more weird than the previous Han Shui, and could not be forced to retreat. Yunfang could only jump to Yi Ming's back and walk forward with him on his back. This road of death is really too dangerous. If it weren't for the big brother, I wouldn't have passed. Yunfang said with emotion. Yi Ming said, if it's not dangerous, isn't everyone able to enter? It's just weird. Why didn't I see the Supreme College? Didn't it mean that only by entering the Supreme Academy can we enter the land of creation? Yunfang. My brother didn't know. People in Supreme College have taken a different path, and only people in Supreme College can take that path. Yi Mingqi said, so why don't we take that one? Doesn't it mean that our legendary schools also have a certain number of places? Yunfang sighed, that place is not paid. Only by spending sky-high prices to buy it can you get a place. After all, the Supreme College costs so much that it can't just go out. Yi Ming, what's the difference between that road and the road to death? It is far less dangerous, Yunfang said, so Supreme College calls it the road of creation, and the chance of passing through is many times higher than the road of death. As for our legendary school, I don't know what kind of consideration it was, but instead of using the quota of the road of fortune, they came to the road of death. However, this road of death is actually guarded by aliens, and they want to come here, too. You have to pay a certain amount of money, but you don't have to make a fortune. Yunfang said, but as far as I know, no one, and no alien, will pass through the road of death. Frowned, so, our brothers are purely here to, how come, we still have a great chance. Master should have calculated our destiny, otherwise why should he let his disciples die in vain? Yunfang suddenly became excited. Brother, you should be near the end of this level. On the fire road, no one can be regarded as an alien. They all died as early as the snow, and now only 2 of them are left. After thousands of miles, the road of fire disappeared and the road returned to normal. After a short walk, a natural portal appeared in front of it, which cut off the road and rolled a white light inside. However, in front of the portal, there were 2 monsters squatting, a tauren and a horse head, each holding a chain and a knife. Upon seeing these 2, Yunfang's face suddenly looked difficult and said, brother, we are in danger. This is the horse-faced ***** and the cow-faced god. They are the ferocious beasts of ancient times. They like to tease and eat other creatures alive. Yi Ming narrowed his eyes, stopped outside Beibu, and asked, what's their strength? We see a ant pass the combat power of the Lord God. Yunfeng is desperate. These two beasts are very dangerous and insidious. They like to play with prey. For example, they will ask two creatures to walk by and eat them casually. Take one of them. If it is three, eat two. In short, they will always leave one alive. However, the one that eventually survives will still be eaten. Quote. In other words, they never stay alive, right? Yi Ming asked. Yunfeng shook his head. That's not the case. I saw from ancient books that there was a very smart person who escaped under the hands of the cow-faced ****** and the horse-faced god. As for what method to use, I don't know. Yunfeng said for a moment, how is that possible? There is only this way. Ming took out a three-pointed and two-edged knife, and struck the ground hard, and click. The road actually opened a gap, and there was endless void and black holes. Brother, what are you doing? Yunfeng asked in surprise. Yi Ming, I have been wondering from the road of death. What the ***** is this road? Yunfeng said suddenly, what is it? Yi Ming pointed to the surroundings. Look, these four sides are all nothingness. This nothingness has no concept of time and space. If we fall into it, we will live forever without thoughts, and gradually our thinking will stop. Eventually becomes nothing. Quote. Yunfeng's eyes lighted up suddenly. I see. Brother means, this place shouldn't have been this way. Yi Ming nodded. So, I don't think this road is actually a real road, but a space channel, because only a space channel will shuttle in the void. After finishing, he pulled Yunfeng and began to have regularity. To move forward and back, sometimes 3 steps, sometimes 5 steps, and sometimes up to hundreds of steps. The weird scene happened. When Yi Ming stepped back 3 steps, his body moved forward. When he moved forward 5 steps, he was still. After several attempts, the two became faster and faster, turning into 2 lights, moving back and forth. Suddenly, when Yi Ming and Yunfeng withdrew from hundreds of steps and took a step forward, they suddenly appeared in the portal and fell into white light. The two beasts raised their eyelids slightly. They could pass this level. They seemed a little surprised. In white light, the bodies of the two kept falling, then levitating, and then rising, changing constantly. I don't know how many times they went through. The two talents sank with their feet and finally stepped on the ground. The white light disappeared, and the two saw the vastness of the earth. This earth, unlike any big world, is composed of the most microscopic and tiny things, somewhere between matter and energy. They look like crystals, continually gathering. So magical scenes happened, a mountain suddenly formed, and then suddenly disappeared. There will even be rivers of crystal-like, which will not last long. On the high sky, you can see countless huge whirlpools. They seem to be clearly not far away, but you can observe them carefully. They were shocked to find that those whirlpools were so remote, seemingly out of reach across countless big worlds. Suddenly, a gust of wind passed, and the ground under the two's feet disappeared. They turned into a white light and rushed towards a vortex. After a while, the vortex became larger and the speed of rotation was faster. Without the ground, the two kept normal, and I didn't know how long it took before they entered a crystal-like cave. Yi Ming said in surprise, "This place is unpredictable. We were just on the ground just now, and we have already entered the ground the next moment." Yunfeng, this is the land of creation. It is said that everything in the 3 realms was born from the land of creation. I don't know if it is true or not. The words did not fall, and a light of God suddenly filled the entire space. Being illuminated by this light, the two were extremely comfortable at first, feeling that their bodies and souls were undergoing qualitative changes and ascension. The light of creation, quickly, meditate and absorb. Yunfeng screamed strangely, and the two quickly sat down. The light did not know where it came from, and it disappeared for about a quarter of an hour. But it was enough. For a quarter of an hour, Yiming and Yunfeng felt that their bodies had undergone major changes. Although the strength has not increased much, the most essential things have been improved. Yiming took out the map and smiled bitterly. What's the use of Master's map for us? The terrain here is ever changing. At different times and in different places, it is a sport. How can it be possible to find the artifact of creation? Yunfeng also looked at his own map and said helplessly, let's write down the map first, maybe we will see the terrain on the map at a certain moment. The chance is slim, I no longer give hope. Yiming shrugged. Brother Feng, let's find where there is the light of creation, or the light of creation, and just leave for some good. Yunfeng also wanted to drive. It is good to be able to come in alive. What is required? So Haha happy, followed Yiming to explore. They didn't stay on the ground for a long time, they turned upside down again, and somehow reached the ground again. And they didn't see that one of the vortices shrank to an origin, and emitted a strange light, hitting the ground. The light of creation. Yiming and Yunfeng dashed and appeared in the place where the strange light shone. The light-emitting area is very small, only the size of a bed. The two immediately sat down and meditated. Like the light of creation does not last long, and it disappears in about a quarter of an hour. And the origin in the sky also disappeared suddenly and disappeared. The two couldn't judge whether that origin was a world disappeared or was a world born. In this way, they walked aimlessly, occasionally encountering the light of the creation and the light of the asterisk of creation, and they came forward to absorb the cultivation. I don't know how long, Yiming just remembered that he absorbed 36 times of the light of creation and 15 times of creation. This experience has made his body and soul reach the most perfect state, and even cannot be described as perfect. On this day, a great ghost suddenly appeared above Yiming's head. A spirit of energy soared into the sky and penetrated the ground. This momentum actually attracted a large number of nearby gods of the gods, and they flew in one after another, throwing themselves into Yiming's body. Yunfeng was shocked and happy, and said, "Brother, this is the body to be promoted to the supreme." Hundreds of taus of divine light entered the body, and Yiming's godlike shape rushed out of the flesh and screamed. Suddenly a thunder came in the void, and there were hundreds of millions of lightnings in the thunder, and they fell towards Yiming. Yunfeng fled furiously, his face full of envy, and murmured, "This is the lightning and the lightning of creation, which is more advanced than the light of creation and light of creation." Thunder and lightning have hit the divine shape and penetrated into the flesh, and Yiming's divine shape became stronger and stronger. His immeasurable eternal sea of God has completely escaped from the sea of knowledge, turned into a sea, and appeared in the air. The three-pointed, two-edged sword suddenly flew up to take over the baptism of thunder and lightning. In addition, the blood house, the blood god, and the heavenly sword mark also attracted thunder and lightning to the upper body and began to transform and evolve. In particular, with countless lightnings, thunder broke into the sea of God, and there was actually a soul in that sea, and the birth of the spirit began. Fishes and shrimps were born, jumping and alive. And in Shanghai, islands, mountains, and even a continent emerged. Yunfeng's eyes all looked straight. Isn't this creation? I know. This creation lightning has changed the brothers Shanghai and has the ability to create the world. The thunder was getting denser and the lightning was getting more and more fierce. I don't know how long after that, Shanghai returned to the body, leaving only 3 sharp two-edged swords outside, continuing to attract the lightning thunder. After a long time, the 3-pointed two-edged sword finally sank into Shanghai. It landed in the center of a continent in Shanghai. As soon as this magic soldier fell to the ground, he gave birth to a no-root beard, continuously deep into the ground, plunged into Shanghai, and drew nutrients from it. And the outside of the three-pointed and two-edged sword was gradually wrapped in crystals, and eventually turned into a huge stone. From a distance, it looked like an egg cell, emitting infinite light. He didn't dare to think about it and jumped up immediately. The thunderbolt disappeared, and the world was quiet again. In the distance, Yunfang ran over desperately and called, "Brother, what are you doing?" It turned out that Yunfang could see from the beginning that Yi Ming was the most powerful and supreme body, and he was very happy for him. But he really couldn't understand it later. Blood House, Blood God, three-pointed two-edged sword, and Shanghai all came out for fun. Especially after that, the three-pointed two-edged knife was split by lightning for many years. What the asterisk is this? Yi Ming smiled. Hee, I'm not sure what happened, everything is an instinct reaction. However, I feel that the three-pointed two-edged sword seems different. Yunfang. Big brother really took the advantage. Poor younger brother, I haven't waited for many years, even Lei Xingzi hasn't touched it, was talking, he suddenly froze, suddenly pointed to the front, and shouted, "Brother." Yi Ming turned his head and looked. Look at this terrain, how can it look so similar on the map? A flash of light flashed through his mind, and he said, "Hurry up, look for the Hunyuan gang." The two flew desperately to see a mountain bag within a short while, which is exactly where the artifacts on the map are hidden. As soon as they reached the mountainside,